Hello and welcome to Take You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I'm your host, JP John Potts, with the two-man power trip. Of course, joining me, star of the show, the former WWF World Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom. Dr. Tom Prichard, how you doing today, sir?
I've been better, John, but everything's great. Other than that, we got a little sickness going around, and I think everybody's feeling it.
What's going
So,
on in JPWA, the world of the
well,
JP?
we just had our graduation for 2023, the last class last Saturday night, December excuse me, December 9th, I think it was, right?
Yep.
Saturday was December 9th, yeah. So we had a good graduation. Glenn came out. We graduated all four of our guys, and now we're off until January 8th. So looking forward to that.
Nice. It's awesome that Kane made an appearance. That's great.
Yes, he came out. He wanted to see the guys, and it was awesome. It really was. They were happy
Rare
about it.
rare appearance, or has he been coming around more lately? I know he's getting insanely busy.
Well, he's been insanely busy, but he's been wanting to come out for a while, so he finally made it out. It was good.
That's very
It was good. Yeah.
Jason, hello, Jason. How are you? Hope all's well.
Jason? Yeah. Well, we're doing as good as we can do, I guess, Jason. A lot going on.
Now, before we get started, I wanted to get your opinion on this because I'm seeing a lot of news about the WWE and where they're going with their television rights. Obviously, SmackDown has now been locked up. That'll be on USA, I believe, 2024 and going forward. And then obviously, the NXT brand is on CW, but the Raw brand is still out there. Have you heard or have you thought about where Raw may land? Because the rumor is now Warner Brothers Discovery. The rumor is TBS TNT or possibly even Fox back in the mix.
Well, no, wait a minute. Is TNT, isn't that where AEW is being shown?
Yes, that's the interesting wrinkle that they're the lead dog right now, supposedly, according to a lot of people, that they're the lead in it. But well, where would that leave AEW? Very, very controversial to say the least.
Yeah, because I don't think WWE would want to share the same uh,
Right. I didn't
platform
think so.
as another wrestling company. So that is very interesting. I'm not sure. Um, they Raw couldn't be on USA as well as SmackDown.
It could be, for sure.
Yeah. So I think. What about Fox?
Yeah, it was funny that they kind of ripped SmackDown, saying, "Oh, it didn't meet expectations. That the fans don't have enough money as like other sports fans have." Yeah,
Hmm.
I forget his name, but the executive over at Fox was kind of like ripping it, and then all of a
Really?
sudden now they're back in for Raw. So maybe that was a leverage thing to try to get the money down. I'm not sure.
Well, it's an interesting time. That's for sure. And wherever I don't know if Raw is being eyed by CW or not. But
That's another rumor out there, which is crazy. How much money does the CW have? Because I mean, that's going to cost them probably
you have
a billion or two.
you have NXT on CW coming up, don't you?
Yeah. Yep. Happy
Isman,
holidays, Ibsen. Happy
little
holidays.
buddy, Dr. Tom. Okay, good. Happy holidays, Ibsen. Hey, Barbara.
Barbara, sorry
She's
I'm late.
always
She said.
sorry she's late. She's in fact we're
Yes.
early, so she's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
late. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. It's just
So
interesting because I would guess that Raw would end up with USA just because they have SmackDown in the future
mhm.
and they have Peacock, which is obviously the mothership there for the PLEs. So interesting to think that that might be a landing spot, but I can't believe Fox is back in it and Warner Brothers, which means that AEW might be out the door. Crazy.
Yeah, I wonder where AEW would land, or would they just be out of luck?
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, a lot of crazy things going on. I want to see what 2024 holds for
I
everybody.
I think ESPN is also rumored to be interested, and then they said Amazon was interested because they wanted to stream it.
Wow.
And ESPN even asked, "Would you switch nights?" And WWE said yes.
For
So it
Monday
wouldn't.
Night Raw?
Yeah, because if ESPN got it, they don't want to compete with themselves because of Monday Night Football, so they put it on Tuesday night or another night.
Well, that would be an interesting habit to get into then, I guess, for because then when would NXT be shown?
Right, because then maybe they would put Raw on Wednesday or NXT on Wednesday, and then AEW would be in trouble again. Yeah, very
Man,
interesting.
it's getting confusing every day.
Yeah,
It
yep.
really is.
Obviously, it would no longer be called Monday Night Raw; it would just be called Raw. But yeah,
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting to see, though.
happy Hump Day, Phil. Great to be here. Yes,
Yeah, it is a hump day, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah,
Just with WWE, it's I don't know, it's gotten hotter and hotter and hotter since Triple H got the book. Right? I mean, it just seems like the value is. I mean, TKO obviously plays a huge part in that too, but
sure.
just he's got the ball rolling there for sure. The
Well, good
ratings
for
have been good
him.
too.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, I think he's got some compelling storylines, and I think, from what I hear, the guys enjoy working for him. So good for him.
Seems like once he was fully retired, and Vince, you know what I mean, he can't wrestle anymore because of the heart condition, and Vince is out of the way. It seems like he's finally coming into his own as far as booking.
Yeah. Well, he's having help too, though. I mean, it's not just him, but I mean, he is making the final decision, I guess.
That guy that you for some reason don't like, but I love, Michael P.S. Hayes, is definitely helping out. He's doing a great job.
Now, why would not like Michael B.S. Haynes?
I don't know. You remember a while ago you were saying the Freebirds weren't that good, a little overrated, not in the top 10. Remember?
No, I don't remember. I think you're on drugs, John. Are you
Paul
on? Are
Heyman.
you are you on drugs?
Paul Heyman helps out. Bruce helps out with the Cribs. Yeah, they
Yeah,
got
he's got a lot of
quite a
help.
crew. Yeah,
They
he's
do
got.
have quite a crew. So I
Ibsen's got
think
a question.
who's that?
Ibsen's got a question for you.
What's that?
What was your reaction when Punk came out? Were you surprised, watching live, shocked?
No, I wasn't shocked. I wasn't really that surprised. It was Chicago, and I thought it was great.
Were you
I,
watching live?
no, I was not watching live.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Do you watch the PLEs live? Do you still do that or no? You just go back and
No,
watch.
I'll go back and watch.
It's hard to do for sure.
It is hard to do. It's hard to find enough time in the day.
Did you ever see Punk work at Ring of Honor in 2004 while you were training wrestlers back then? Did you have
I,
your eye on CM Punk?
I did see CM Punk. I guess it might have been 2004. I did an interview with Gabe at Ring of Honor,
Yep.
whatever year it was, and I met him then. But yeah, I saw him.
I remember those. Yeah, it was funny. He was bringing in like a lot of guys, Gabe, not necessarily for ROH, but for their like shoot interview series.
Right. Yeah, I did one of those for him, and that's where I met CM Punk for the first time. He had blonde hair.
Yes. What did you
Yeah.
think of him?
I thought he was all right. I didn't understand the connection, but when it came to WWE, it was more clear that he definitely had a connection, and the people loved him. So, and it's amazing to watch how he's progressed through the years, and how people have gravitated towards him.
When you look at him, he definitely has a connection with the audience. I mean, obviously, when he came out, his pop was huge in Chicago for Survivor Series. It's just crazy. But even the ratings have been great. His segments up like 400,000, which I know people say, oh, that's not a lot. No, that's a lot in this day and age. That's a ton in
Yeah.
this day and age, the way the ratings are. So the show would have 1.5 million, but his segment would have 1.9 on Raw. SmackDown went up 500,000 when he was on. So, I mean, he is a ratings getter. He is a lightning rod for sure.
Well, I hope they get back to Attitude Era ratings one day, and it may be Punk that drives them that way. If not Attitude ratings, at least over 2 million or 3 million. I hope.
Yeah, so SmackDown was at 2.5 million. So I mean, it's kind of getting there. Sometimes Reigns, when Roman Reigns is on his segments, will do 3 million or above. So
Right.
it kind of depends on the talent, I guess, who's in there. But it seems like Punk is a hot commodity.
No doubt, no doubt, and we'll have to wait and see what he does, and how far he moves the needle. He's doing good so far.
When you look at it with him, Supposedly that's why Fox is back in play, is because of Punk. Supposedly that's why Warner Brothers Discovery is in play because of Punk. So he obviously is a needle mover, whether people want to admit it or not. It looks like AEW dropped the ball, even letting him go, even if he was causing problems. Letting him go, it seems like it's a huge problem.
Well, AEW dropped the ball on a few people. They dropped the ball on Cody. They dropped the ball on Jane Cargill and some other people too.
Brian
So
Pillman Jr.
Brian Pillman Jr. Because who would have thought? I watched a little bit of NXT last night and saw where he came out and attacked whoever it was he attacked. So, I think it just goes to show you it's not about where you are as much as it is, who you're with.
Crazy. I
So,
was like, wow, he can cut a pretty good promo too, because I never really heard him cut a promo in AEW, but he actually can talk. Like, wow,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So, going back to the guy you talked about earlier, Michael Hayes, and whoever else is helping with NXT, uh, they might have gotten his head and given him some direction that he can bite on.
Please ask Dr. Tom what AEW got wrong with Cody and CM Punk. Now they're on top of the WWE roster. Were they not used right by Tony Khan? Thank you.
Well, I think it's obvious that Tony doesn't necessarily know what to do with his roster. He's not. I don't know because I'm not there, but my assumption is this: Tony Khan is using his knowledge, which whatever it is, from a fan's viewpoint, he doesn't have the same kind of minds around him as Triple H does in WWE. So I think what they got wrong was they're letting the inmates run the asylum. And Cody, I think, had enough of it, and CM Punk obviously had enough of it. Jane Cargill certainly got away from it and found out that there was a lot more professionalism in WWE, love them or not. And that's the problem is Tony Khan is booking it from his point of view, and I don't know that he has that much help booking things that people are looking out for themselves and not necessarily caring about the entire product. It is a selfish business, and sometimes that happens. But with all the people that have, I think there's going to be more people gravitate towards WWE as their contracts come up to. I don't know who that would be at this time, but there is some promising young talent on AEW. I'm sure there's more young guys.
Oh, yeah.
That can get a shot. I'm a big fan of the Gun show, and of course Billy Gunn has ends in WWE as well. So big fan of those guys.
Yeah, they got something. They have a good look, and they're actually they're getting better for sure. It just seems like AEW is just so cold right now, and WWE is just on a complete hot streak. It's just it's just the way it goes, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, it's like the law of the jungle when the the lion has a monkey in his mouth. He's going to chew down and swallow it whole sometimes. So that might be where AEW finds itself, the monkey in the lion's mouth.
For sure.
Yeah.
Ibsen wants to know, Ken Shamrock is reportedly on a Legends contract, and his merchandise is slowly coming into the shop. So with MMA merger now, do you think Hall of Fame is close by for Ken?
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all. Ken has certainly had a Hall of Fame career.
Kind of surprised he wasn't in already. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Again, there's a million guys you could say that about, but Shamrock right there, talk about Attitude Era, right there in the thick of it.
Yeah, but who was making the decisions? If it was Vince for whatever reason, who knows? Who knows? Shamrock certainly had a Hall of Fame career.
That is kind of an indicator. Like, I remember Sting had the video game deal and the merchandise deal. All of a sudden, he's wrestling. He's in the Hall of Fame. It just seems like that's like the progression. As long as you get on their good side, you sign the merchandise deal, you get a Legends contract, then the Hall of Fame. Honky tonk. I mean, that slowly happens to those guys.
Yeah, and that's the way it should happen. I mean, you need to be on their good side. They don't want to put somebody in that they don't like. That's for sure.
What is your favorite brother love episode?
I don't know if I have a favorite Brother Love episode, but I'll tell you what, if I did, it would have to be the one where Andre ripped off Hogan's cross. I think that was probably
That
the
was
most
Piper's
memorable.
Pit. That was
Well,
Piper's
okay,
Pit.
that's what I'm saying. So now I'm talking about Brother Love and Piper's Pit, like they're one and the same. So I don't know, but I
What?
like Piper's Pit when Andre ripped off Hogan's cross. I thought that was very symbolic and told a hell of a story. That was Piper's Pit. You're right.
Yeah. Yep. I loved it when Bad News Brown beat up Jack Tunney. That was very crazy back then. Like very Stone Cold Steve Austin Attitude Era esque. Like the guy is beating up the boss. Like what the hell? Very
Well,
controversial, especially back then. I feel like Bad News Brown was almost the initial Stone Cold Steve Austin. That never gets talked about. That attitude, that look, same gear.
okay, I'll go
There's
with that.
also a good one with Hogan, or a bunch of good ones with Hogan and Sapphire. I remember she had a good one. Sweet Sapphire.
Yeah, well, Brother Love did some stuff with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and Macho, and went on the road with those guys, and he had a blast. So, but I got Brother Love and Piper's Pit mixed up there
Yeah.
for a second. So, but that just goes to show you, I don't really have a favorite.
Do you love Brother Love?
Of
Yeah.
course I do. I don't know why you're trying to paint me in a corner these days, John.
Nice. I'm just throwing them out there for you.
No, you're not. You're throwing haymakers.
Craig's got an interesting question. Have you ever had a hard time wrestling someone because they had too much oil on their body?
I had a hard time wrestling people when they stunk. I didn't mind the oil so much, but when they didn't learn what soap and water was, I mean, because this is contact sport, and you don't want to work with anybody who stinks. Don't want to be around anybody who stinks. And as a coach, it's my job these days to tell people when they need to wash. And so I never had a hard time because of the baby oil, but I hated working with somebody who had too much baby oil on. I can't think of anybody right now. Nobody comes to mind, but I just didn't like the body odor. Didn't
Do
mind
you
so
really
much.
have to tell your students to watch their
I
body odor?
have,
That's not common sense. Wow. Okay.
I have before. Yeah, you'd be
Wow.
surprised. Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Well, I thought that would be common sense. Damn.
Well, wait a minute. Common sense. Think
Ain't
about
so
that for a
common.
second. Ain't so
Ain't so
common,
common. Yeah.
right?
Who do you personally want to win the Royal Rumble?
I don't care as long as it's either Cody or Punk. So I do
I
care.
agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
either Cody or Punk. And therein lies the drama because Punk and Seth have started their angle, and will it follow through to the Rumble, or will Cody win the Rumble and finish the story? Who knows? But I think those two are my favorites to win the Rumble.
Same here, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
In all seriousness, if they call you for a Rumble as a surprise, are you in ring shape for the Battle Royal if you
Of
win?
course I am, but I don't have to worry about that. But of course I'm in ring shape for the Battle Royal, the Royal Rumble Battle Royal.
Yeah, Royal Rumble. Will it be the women's division to save wrestling? Ladies have been very impressive. Really like Ivy Niles. She is a future champion.
I agree with that. I think Ivy Niles will be a future champion. She's going to be there for a while, and I do agree that the women's division has been very impressive lately, and I think that's great for them. I think it's great for everybody. Um, it's come a long way from the fabulous Mulo days, that's for sure. And I think that I think there's going to be a lot of surprises, and they're going to keep moving ahead.
Did you see Raw Monday night? Ivy Nile was toe to toe with Rhea Ripley, so teasing a match between those two. What do you think about that?
I think that'd be great. I think I'm curious to see how far Ivy's come in her development, and I'm curious to see. I wasn't too impressed with Maxine Dupree, uh, but I would like to see what Ivy Nile and Rhea can do. I think it'd be great.
You didn't like the match was too short with
No,
Maxine?
I think she's too green.
Oh yeah, she definitely is.
Yeah,
I think she's kind of basically a rookie. I mean, she went through NXT super quick.
right. So I think she should have still been in NXT.
Yeah.
And why do you want to do that to the poor girl? She went out there and she wasn't ready. Maybe that's what they wanted. I don't know.
With Ivy, that's going to be pretty interesting because Rhea seems like she's the best in the business right now as far as the women's division is concerned.
Right. Well, and if Ivy now can hang with her, which I believe she can, she'll reap benefits from that.
Ivy now is in great shape. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, she is. She is a pit bull.
From Chief Cook, will Tony Khan buy Impact? What do you think?
Did he buy? Didn't he? Wait,
Well, that
he
was a
has Ring
rumor
of
thrown
Honor.
out there that he might be interested in buying. He bought Ring of Honor and might be interested in Impact. You never know.
I thought he had something to do with Ring of Honor.
Well, he owns Ring of Honor, yeah. But
Right.
there is a rumor that he was interested just a few months ago that he might be interested in buying Impact as well.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on in Tony Khan's mind. He let CM Punk go, he let Cody Rhodes go, he let Jane Cargill go. So I have no idea what's going on in his head.
This is from Scorch, by the way, who's got a ripped frog as his picture. I
Awesome.
tune into Mike O'Hearn's live chats, and he often is working out with Billy Gunn.
Well, then I bet he's in great shape because Billy Gunn's in great shape.
Oh, Mike O'Hearn is freaking huge. He's a monster.
Ah,
He looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, basically.
oh,
Like
okay,
he's huge bodybuilder guy.
cool.
Actually was going to be a pro wrestler, actually. Was on WCW for a little bit because of this Battle Dome show, so he teased wrestling again. But Michael Hearn was a big recruit, or supposedly wanted to be a big recruit, was training out with Rick Bassman out there in California. WWF was interested in him because he looks like $1 million, and they've seen him on the bodybuilding magazines, like Brackus.
Mm,
Actually, except for he's bigger than Brackus, just he's taller and bigger.
right.
But he just never. I don't think he ever cared to be a wrestler.
Well, yeah, because being a bodybuilder is one thing, but then being on the road and doing what you
Taking
have to do
bumps.
is another. Yeah, taking bumps and stuff. That I think Brock has found out the same thing. There's a lot more to it than going out there and doing stunts.
The best brother love show was when Piper had brother love tied up and in a diaper. Yes, that was a good one.
Okay, I missed that one.
Good one here. Brother love episode when Rick the model sprayed Jake the Snake with arrogance, got him in the eyes, blinded him.
Gee, I missed that one too. I must have been on the road.
Wow, that was a good one. Remember Jake had the white eyes? That was awesome.
No, John, I was working back then. I'm sorry, we were making towels. We were trying to keep the territories alive.
Good point.
While they were trying to destroy them, we were trying to keep it alive.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
James May, will there be any reunion of the Horsemen in AEW? Aren't there? Tully be nice to see. Then they could beat up Sting for old time's sake. LOL. What do you think? Horseman reunion? Flair's there.
Yeah, 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 exactly. That's why I don't think there's going to be a Horseman reunion. Holy, Tully and Arn left. Tully left before Arn did.
Yep.
So Arn just left. I don't think Arn has any desire to go back.
I'm trying to remember when it was. I think it was during COVID, but they brought in J.J. Dillon. Arn was there. Tully was there. I don't think Barry was there, but it was almost like a little mini Horseman reunion minus Flair. But now that Flair's there, all the other ones are gone. So
It could open the door for Flair to come in. Who knows?
yeah, I don't know how his relationship is with any of those guys
Right,
nowadays.
right. I don't
Supposedly not
know.
good. Supposedly not
No.
good.
Well, that happens sometimes.
Yep. Ragu. I liked how Punk and Kofi had an interaction on Raw. The complex Punk is friends with easygoing Kofi Kingston in real life. Yes.
Yeah, that was good. I like the
J-
interaction Punk has had with everybody so far. They've shown a different side of him than what I think so-called smart fans and dirt sheets have tried to portray Punk as, and I think that's deliberate on WWE's part to show that this is a change Punk. And yeah, Punk sued him, and Punk said all these horrible things, and everything Seth Rollins has said is true, and that's why it's even more intriguing and I think interesting for everybody to watch.
Now, did you hear another interesting little wrinkle? So he's down at the Performance Center right now. He's with Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. He's just helping them and helping everyone there, but he's also getting in shape as well. I mean, he looks bigger than I've ever seen him. He looks great in great condition, but he's helping them down there while also getting in shape. He was saying he wants to be the next Shawn Michaels, which means he wants to be the next head of NXT, like running things and being a trainer. And if you
Hmm.
rewind back 20 years to Ring of Honor, he used to run the Ring of Honor wrestling school. So it's obviously something he's always wanted to do. I wonder if that's in the cards.
Well, I don't know that Sean's ready to hang it up yet, but
Well, he's saying when his wrestling career, so he's saying like years down the road.
yeah, maybe so. I mean that I don't know why that would be out of the realm of possibilities.
That would
I mean,
go
if he
against what
likes,
the dirt sheets say too about Punker.
yeah, well, not everybody gets it right.
And they were dead wrong. They also said he wasn't coming out of Survivor Series either,
That's
and they,
right.
and they were wrong. So
Yeah.
obviously, track record sometimes not great in that community for sure. Barbara, there was a scene from Saturday night's main event where we saw Brother Love backstage with earphones on his head.
Hmm.
I wonder what he was
Well,
doing. Maybe being the producer behind the scenes.
that could be. Very well could be. He's done that once or twice.
Yeah, right. I think he might be a
Right.
good one. He might be one of the
Yeah.
best. What's Cornette's attitude when a wrestler doesn't want to wash up? How do you handle that?
You tell him. Say, go clean your ass.
Cornette
Wash.
ever say anything to Vader about that?
I don't think Cornette did. Maybe
Yeah, I
somebody
was
else
gonna say.
did. Yeah. I'm sure that whoever was working with Leon might have told him, you need to wash your gear. I don't know how that was handled, but I know that if somebody comes to class and their gear is dirty or they're stinky, I'm going to pull them off to the side. I won't do it in front of everybody. I'll pull you off and explain to you why. This is a physical business. And nobody wants your funk all over them.
Jesse the Body used to tell wrestlers to go through the car wash when they smelled bad. He told Ivan Putski to do this.
Yeah, some guys don't mind telling you, and I don't mind telling you. If you stink or I think you stink, I'm going to tell you.
What does Dr. Tom think about Impact putting on their December pay-per-view in a wrestling school? Does location matter?
I think location does matter. They're putting on their December pay per view in a wrestling school. Where's this at? Where's this going to be at?
I'm not even sure. Interesting though.
Well, I think it does matter. I think NXT has a great studio or great location, but I don't know. I think it does matter where you put your stuff on.
Yeah, see where the heck where are they coming up?
But I haven't heard about Impact putting on a December pay per view at a wrestling school.
I have not heard that as well. But if that is, that's kind of a weird spot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Jonathan Coachman said he would never come back to WWE, WWF because of the back pay. And when he sees past personalities now, they ignore him. Coach shouldn't hold a grudge and he should come back. What do you think about the coach? Another Attitude Era guy, speaking of attitude.
Well, once you've been there and you see how it works, then you know. And I don't blame Coach for saying he wouldn't come back uh, because when you're in, you're in, but when you're out, you're out. And at least that's my opinion, and that's my thoughts on it. If he doesn't want to come back, he shouldn't be forced to come back. He shouldn't be asked to come back. But I can understand why he wouldn't want to come back. Uh, when he sees past personalities now, they ignore him. Well, that's that's the way it is up there sometimes. Not for everybody, but I can see how some people would ignore not just coach, but I mean other people too, who've been around for a while, and while those certain people who stayed around never left. It's kind of cliquish, and that's just the way it is.
Nose blindness is a real thing. It's very common amongst heavy smokers and hoarders.
Yes, yes, it is, and that's why you have to have somebody else tell you. A lot of people don't want to be around that stuff. No, nobody. I don't. Let's say a lot of people, but nobody wants to be around somebody who stinks. I don't. Let me say that. I don't want to be around somebody who stinks. And if I have to hurt your feelings, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I have to be honest with you. Great players want to be good players want to be coached. Great players want to be told the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth.
Good point.
Yeah.
As far as TNA Impact, I don't see them having another show in 2023.
Hmm.
The next show that I see is Hard to Kill 2024 in Paradise, Nevada. So it's somewhere by Las Vegas. And then I
Huh.
see they're running Louisiana, somewhere in New Orleans. I don't see something for a December pay-per-view. So hopefully we can get some sort of
Is
clarification
is it a
on that.
wrestling school they're holding their gimmick at, or no?
Not as far as I know, not as far as Impact, I don't think.
Okay.
Is NWA running any sort of show at a wrestling school? Are they doing something with Joe Kazana or something? Are they doing
Well,
something in Florida?
they're doing something in Tampa coming up on. Tampa is January 14th.
Oh, okay. So no, nothing in 2023. Okay.
No, they're done for 2023.
Here's a question for you. What does Prince Albert teach at his wrestling school?
Well, his wrestling school is NXT, so what you see is what you get.
And Prince Albert, aka Matt Bloom, there. No longer Prince Albert.
Right.
If Punk goes to your school, what would you tell him to teach the students? What would you do with CM Punker?
Talk to him about psychology. Talk to him about what got him over. Talk to him how he connects with people. Explain what he does as best as he can, because a lot of things are intangible and you can't explain how he does it. But the best thing to do is explain it. Talk to him and tell them what he did to gain his confidence to be who he is today.
In a recent Ricky Steamboat interview, he said that when he got into bodybuilding, he got blown up very easily in the ring. I guess that explains why Ultimate Warrior had so little stamina in the ring.
Well, bodybuilding and wrestling are two different things, and there's nothing like being in ring shape. You can do all the cardio in the world, but there's nothing like going in the ring and learning how to work. It's a completely different set of cardio. So your body, everything in your body, um, is moving, and you got to learn how to breathe. There's a lot more to it than people think, especially for bodybuilders, because I don't think it's the endurance, but it's also learning how to breathe.
And even if you see guys in MMA, even Lashley, when Lashley did MMA, yeah, he was great, but you could tell he got blown up quick. Like he lost early on. He lost a fight to this guy, Chad, the grave digger Griggs, Briggs, Griggs, who wasn't that big. He was a smaller guy, and Lashley lost because Lashley completely gassed out because he's way too jacked up. So you
Right.
lose, that's just eating your oxygen up big time. Like the good
Yeah.
guys in MMA are always kind of not skinny, but they're usually not in like ripped shape.
Right. Right. Well, the bigger heavyweights have trouble. So, yeah, and in pro wrestling, it's learning how to breathe, learning how to take your time, and that's about it.
When you look at it too, it's like Warrior probably wasn't made for 30-minute matches. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
no, hide his weaknesses and
Yep.
concentrate on what he can do well, and that's just be explosive and come out, shake the ropes.
And his longest matches are against Hogan and Savage, guys that could carry him, and probably two of the best guys ever. So I mean,
Right.
you have to be in there with the correct guy if you're gonna have a long
Yeah.
match with him.
Exactly.
Heard Adrian Adonis smelled very bad. Did Dr. Tom ever wrestle Adrian Adonis?
I never wrestled Adrian Adonis, but I don't know about how he smelled.
I don't know if I've ever heard that about Adrian, but
I
interesting.
know I never have. So I don't know.
Magazine Retriever. The plane ride from hell marked the last day of the Attitude Era. The following day, May 6th, 2002, the WWF began using the name WWE.
Okay, sounds about right. What a way to
Yeah.
start it off.
The end of the Attitude Era. Do you
Yeah.
know who the last ever WWF champion was? Do you know that? Meaning that he's the champ on May 6th, 2002.
Austin?
Nope. You're not going to believe
Uh,
this one. And it's the
okay.
perfect ending to the WWF and starting WWE.
I have no
The
idea.
the immortal Hulk Hogan.
Well, there you have
Perfect,
it then.
right? Right? How perfect
Sure.
is that?
Right. Very perfect.
Biggest star ever in the WWF. The last time that they're WWF, he was the champ, and then they start WWE. He's the champ. He beat Triple H at the Backlash 2002 pay-per-view before losing a few weeks later to Undertaker in May. But he's the last ever champ.
Well, good for him. Good for the holster.
When you look at it too, the end, the plane ride from hell kind of signifying the end of the Attitude Era. It's kind of the end of the era of like where the ratings are going up. Like that's when the ratings start going down. If you really look at it.
If you look at it too, and this will probably sound however it's going to sound, but the Attitude Era and just the era where professional wrestling was professional wrestling and it wasn't what it is today. Uh, there was a lot more danger. There was a lot more drama. There was a lot more mystique to it. And then everybody started getting smart, and everybody, I remember when Dave Meltzer's Dirt Sheet came out I first saw it in California in 1980. And I was amazed at how much he knew from just the California uh, territory. And there were just certain people who got it. There was a guy named Ron Dobratz who used to put out Pro Wrestling Digest in the 70s. And I forget how I found this guy, but he would put the wrestlers' real names. I remember seeing Abdullah the Butcher's name is Larry Shreve in there and all this stuff. And I was reading it, wondering how this guy got this information. And, you went from the mystique and the secrecy of wrestling to everybody knowing everything. And now it seems a little more sanitized than ever before. And is it really that much better? I don't know. I mean, I kind of liked it when the outcasts of society, or the people who didn't belong in polite society, that's for sure, belonged only in one place, like Dr. Jerry Graham and Eddie Graham, and the people who, I don't know if you invite them over to have coffee and or tea and crumpets at your house. I don't even know what a crumpet is, but I just think the Attitude Era and pre-Attitude Era, there was a lot more interest for real wrestling fans to come and see. You know what I mean? I mean, do you know what I mean? Let me tell you what I mean. Yeah. I think, people like the Freebirds, those guys were who they were in the ring, outside the ring. They were insane. And I think Michael has got back some of his sanity. But, Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, and Buddy Roberts were exactly what you thought they'd be outside the ring, too, and in the back. And it was authentic, and they were real. So the plane ride from hell, I'm not saying it was a good thing, but I'm saying you had the real characters on that plane, and it marked not only the last day of the Attitude Era, but kind of brought in a new era.
The last of the Mohicans, for
The
sure.
last of the Mohicans too, where now all of a sudden everybody carried their Xbox and Game Boys and all that stuff, and uh, no more wild Comanches on the warpath.
As a kid, from Scorch, as a kid, I wondered where some wrestlers disappeared to. Then I'd see them behind the scenes specials where guys like Terry Taylor or Dr. Tom were working backstage.
Yeah, and that was something that recently came up in the '80s because there weren't a whole lot of backstage jobs prior to that. I mean, sometimes you get the guys in territories who uh, take the ring from town to town, set up the ring, or go out and promote towns, get towns, and things like that. And then when WWF came along, and after you had a career in the ring, you could you could apply for a job backstage. You could just kind of fall into it. So yeah, that's what some guys did. Some guys liked it, some guys didn't.
Did Corny sell his promotion to Vince? If so, was it for a lot?
I don't think it was for a lot. I don't know if he sold it. I just know that he closed it. I don't know that he actually sold to Vince.
I think the library was
He
sold.
he bought the library. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. He did buy the library, but I don't think he sold the promotion because Corny sold or Corny shut the doors, and I don't
Yep.
remember exactly the date that was either. But he shut the doors, and we were done.
1995. Yeah.
'95, yeah. So, but I don't think he sold it to Vince. He sold the library and got what he could out of that.
Do you remember Casey O'Connor from Smoky Mountain?
Yes, I sure do.
Talked to him recently. Yeah, great guy. Yeah.
You talked to KC. How's KC
Yeah,
doing?
good. He's in Wyoming.
What's he doing in
Can you get
Wyoming?
work? Can you get any further from from where he
Yeah,
was?
yeah. What
Smoky
kind of
Mountain?
work is he doing?
I forget what he said.
What kind
Actually,
of
I'm gonna
work
have
would
to.
you what kind of work would you do in Wyoming? That sounds like Eric Bischoff lives out there, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe some
Yeah,
hunting, fishing, maybe.
yeah. Maybe he's a guide, a hunting fishing guide. But that's as far away as you can get from wrestling, I guess.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
question here from Ibsen, by the way. Did Shane's kid ever come to you? Declan McMahon.
No,
Oh,
no.
Declan, come on. What are you doing?
Well, Declan's in what, New York
Connecticut, I think, right?
or Connecticut, wherever he's from, wherever he's
But
at.
he goes to Indiana University, I believe.
Okay, so he's in Indiana right now. So Declan was just like a baby when I was there. I
But he, but
remember.
he's, but he's able to come to you now, though.
Well, if he does, he does. But we'll see.
In a recent interview with Tully Blanchard, Tully said he found out about his 700 Club moment leading to Ricky Morton's divorce. He said Ricky never told him about it.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Maybe it never came up, but yeah, I've heard that story a couple times about
Yeah.
Tully going on the 700 Club and talking about that. So I don't know. I don't know that it's all Tully's fault. I think no matter what, if that was the case, Ricky was going to get a divorce anyway. It was inevitable.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. So you can't blame Tully for that.
ATF, you know that he loves Ronnie Garvin. He said Ronnie Garvin doesn't use a gun to hunt deer. He relies on his hands of stone. Can anyone confirm?
Not only that, but Ronnie knocks him out and gives him the one kill shot to the head with his punch. And then he uses his breath to cook and make deer jerky.
As far as Ronnie Garvin is concerned, have you seen him lately?
I have not.
He's not too far from you. I know he has two homes, one in Florida and one in West Virginia. So he's not too far from you.
Well, he's not too close either. West Virginia's a good ways. So we wouldn't be neighbors by any stretch of the imagination.
True.
I haven't seen Ronnie in a while.
But he probably just kills him with his bare hands. That's what.
Yeah, no, he does. He gives him a kill shot, one shot, and then, as I said, he doesn't use a fire or anything like that. He uses his breath to cook and make deer jerky. So it's pretty good. True story.
David says, "Hey, Dr. Tom, what are your thoughts on CM Punk?" We were talking about him, but what are your thoughts? Do you love him? Do you hate him? What do you think about Punker?
I think he's tremendous. I like the reaction he gets. I like his attitude. I like everything about him. He's a guy that proved everybody wrong and stuck to his guns. Hasn't wavered, at least from what I hear. So we all change as we get older, but I think I like Punk. I really do. I think he's doing good.
When are you coming back to Iowa?
I don't know. I don't know when I'd be from Iowa. Come back to Iowa. My dad is from Iowa, or was from Iowa. My dad was from a place called Hornick, Iowa. So if you know Hornick, Iowa, small town.
Ronnie tenderizes the deer with the Garvin stomp.
He
Yes, love
does.
that.
He
Love that.
does.
Do you love that Randy Orton was doing the Gar or does the Garvin stomp? It's pretty cool, I thought.
Yes. Yes, I do. Bob, his Randy's dad was good friends with Ronnie,
Yep.
and that is, yeah. I think that was a great tribute to Ronnie Garvin.
Barbara's saying Ricky Morton got into it with Wahoo at Bennigan's when his nachos arrived cold.
Well, that I could believe. That I certainly can believe that. That makes sense to me.
I find it amusing that Ronnie Garvin is only 7 or 8 years older than his stepson, Jimmy Jam Garvin, so he played his kayfabe brother.
Yes, yes. I remember seeing Ronnie and Jimmy and Ronnie, Jimmy, and Terry Garvin early on in the '70s working together.
It's interesting that Jimmy Jam was always kind of rumored to defeat Flair for the world title, but he got injured, and Ronnie Garvin ended up beating Flair for the title all the way
You're
back in
saying
1987.
you're saying Jimmy was in line for that?
Yeah, he was feuding with Flair at the time. Yeah,
Ah, well then that's how fate works.
true. After Haku, who is the toughest wrestler?
John is W.
Uh, John Bradshaw Layfield.
John
Oh,
Paz.
awesome. Okay, all right,
Yeah,
I'll take that. I'll take it.
that's the
I was going to
toughest.
say maybe the Steiners or Barbarian or something like one of those guys.
After Haku, I don't know. Yeah, the Barbarian or someone like that, but I don't know.
I was curious about the Attitude Era because we were talking about it so much. Back in '98, when you were, you're obviously been a trainer since '96, but you're winding down your wrestling career as far as in ring. Did you want to wrestle more in '98? Because you're wrestling in Memphis, you're wrestling up for the WWA, like you're wrestling kind of all around, sometimes on TV. Did you want to wrestle more or no?
No, I was ready to just train. No, it takes a lot to get out in the ring, and I wasn't. Yeah, it just wasn't the same.
So when you're wrestling Kurt Angle and stuff, it's really just for his benefit, not necessarily you wanting to wrestle more.
Right, right. Just to give Kurt some opponents on the road. And I did Brockus and worked with Rock a few times on the road. I worked with some guys, but no, I was ready to wind it down.
Do you remember when you occasionally played the Blue Blazer as well? Do you remember that?
Sure,
How
sure
did
I
that
did.
come about? Why did they have you doing the Blue Blazer gimmick?
Because I needed somebody to do it, and I was there. It's the only explanation I have for you.
And you and Owen have similar builds.
Right. Yeah.
So you fit the costume. You kind of look like Owen a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So it's just as simple as that. There's nothing.
No nefarious thought put into it whatsoever. No conscious thought except, hey, Tom, you want to be the Blazer tonight? Sure. What do I have to do? Well, it's like a suplex by Blackman. Oh, a second thought. Yeah. No.
What do you think about Blackman? Was he easy to work with? Was he fun?
I like Blackman. Steve was one of those tough guys that had a weird sense of humor, but once you knew that was his sense of humor and it was just him, who had that dryness about him. I thought Steve was great.
I remember I talked to him a while back, and I said, "Hey, you want to do any signings? Do you do anything or whatever?" Because he's not that far from me, and he's basically was like, "Nah, I'm not interested. Yeah, I don't really like the business." I was like, "Wow, really? Okay, okay."
Right,
So yeah, he just really, I guess, didn't like or not didn't like, but doesn't like the business anymore.
right. I could understand that about Steve. I mean, I really can. Sometimes you just you get tired of it.
Very interesting question here, and I've never heard a question asked about this guy before. To you, Dr. Tom, have you met George Wells?
I have not. Never met George.
Had no idea. He passed away. Remember, we were actually talking about him a while ago. He did pass away a few years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Um, Ibsen was saying Harley Race second toughest wrestler.
Harley was pretty tough. Yeah, Harley was pretty tough.
Barbara says Mad Dog Vachon.
Mad Dog was, from my understanding, a little bit on the crazy side. So yeah, I could believe that.
What's Stan Lane up to right now?
I don't have a clue, but I know he's married, and I knew he was happily married last time I talked to him. So that's been a couple of years now. So, but I don't know what Stan's doing now. He's probably still doing the boat races and on ESPN. But whatever he's doing, I hope he's happy.
I saw Steve Kern holding up, or sent a picture of Stan Lane holding up his book, holding up Steve Kern's book. I guess helping him promote his fabulous one tag partners book. I thought that was cool.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Uh, what's
Have you read Steve Kern's book?
No, not yet, but I heard it's good.
Yeah, I haven't read it either.
Do you have it?
No.
Oh, you gotta get it.
What's the name of it?
Wrestling Chronicles.
Okay.
I'll get the exact terms. I don't want to get it
No,
wrong.
I
A
don't.
Fabulous Life of Steve Kern, and then it's a little bit of a addition to it. Kern Chronicles Volume 1. So that means there's going to be more.
Okay.
Blackman, Anvil, Pennsylvania. He does bounty work. He's a bounty hunter in that area. Not too far from me, actually.
I wouldn't want Blackman coming after me.
Hell no. Yeah, definitely.
No.
Speaking about tough guys, he's definitely one of them. There's a story from Frank here. There's a story about JBL picking a fight with Blackman in an airport baggage carousel, and things did not go well for JBL. Steve Blackman is legit tough.
Yeah, well, I wasn't there, but I heard a story where John was picking on Steve and maybe slapped him on the butt, and Blackman gave him one of those sidekicks, and yeah. So I could see that.
Craig is saying Bad News Brown. He said if Bad News Brown and Andre had a fight, would it have been competitive?
Probably.
He's got the judo background, Bad News Brown.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to mess with Bad News back in the day either.
No.
Yeah. Especially before he got hurt in his back and his knees and everything else went.
Yeah.
He's a bad man.
Legit tough guy too.
Yep. All right, let's wrap it up and hit the plugs. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com. Dr. Tom, what do you got going on?
Well, we got our new class starting January 8th, 2024. And if you're interested in being a professional wrestler, or just want to get an experience of what it's like to train as a professional wrestler for professional wrestling, go to jpwrestlingacademy.com. It give you all the information. And if you want to check out a curriculum, a book, I wrote a curriculum, a 1-year curriculum.
Here's the book.
You can also find that out at jpwrestlingacademy.com. Click on the training tab at the top, and it will take you right to it. Once again, that's January 8th. We start our new class, and I'm looking forward to having a bunch of people this year training with us. So check it out at jpwrestlingacademy.com. Oh, and if you want an autograph copy, you can email me at jpwrestlingacademy@gmail.com and tell them tell me that you want an autographed copy, and I'll explain how to get one.
Perfect gift for Christmas. Yes.
It's a beautiful Christmas for Christmas. Thank you, Barbara.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you right back here next week for a little Take It to Go with Dr. Tom Prichard. We'll see you next week, folks.